I F27 had a gut feeling to check my husband's 28M phone. After 2 days of fighting the urge and found him sexting his coworker, saying I love you, and now he claims nothing physical happened, but I'm in Egypt, where divorce is huge and we've been together since high school, so I don't know if I can trust him again or leave the only love I've ever known. Let me tell you how everything I thought I knew about my life crumbled in the space of 30 seconds while standing in our bathroom at midnight. 2 months ago, I was the happiest woman in Cairo. My name is Yasmin, and I had just married my childhood sweetheart Ahmed in October. We had this beautiful wedding that took 2 years to plan, with all our families there, traditional music, and me in the dress I had dreamed about since I was 15. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. High school sweethearts who made it work. The girl and boy next door who grew up and chose each other over and over again. Ahmed and I have been together since we were 16. Can you imagine that? 11 years of my life with this man. More than a third of my entire existence on this earth has been tied to him. We went to the same school in our neighborhood in Cairo, and I still remember the first day he walked me home. He was wearing this blue shirt that made his eyes look like the Mediterranean, and he carried my books even though his friends teased him about it. We were inseparable through high school. While other couples broke up and got back together every few weeks, we were solid. We studied together, ate lunch together, and spent every weekend at each other's houses. Our families became like one big family. His mother would make my favorite koshari, and my mother would invite him over for every holiday. When we graduated, we both got into Cairo University. Different programs, but we made it work. I studied business, and he went into engineering. We would meet between classes, study together in the library, and dream about our future. We talked about marriage from the time we were 18, but we wanted to wait until we were both established in our careers. Those university years were some of the best of my life. We had our own little world, our own traditions, our own jokes that nobody else understood. We would walk along the Nile and talk for hours about everything and nothing. He knew every dream I had, every fear that kept me awake at night, every silly thing that made me laugh until my stomach hurt. After graduation, we both found good jobs. I started working at a marketing firm, and he got a position at a construction company. We were finally making real money, and we started seriously planning our wedding. In Egypt, weddings are huge events. They involve both families, months of preparation, and more traditions than you can imagine. The engagement party was beautiful. Ahmed looked so handsome in his suit, and I felt like a princess in my traditional dress. We exchanged rings in front of everyone we loved, and I remember thinking that this was it. This was my happily ever after. I was marrying my best friend, my first love, the person who knew me better than anyone else in the world. Planning the wedding was stressful but exciting. We had to coordinate with both families, book the venue, choose the food, pick the music, and handle 1,000 other details. But through all of it, Ahmed was my partner. He helped with everything, never complained when I got overwhelmed, and always reminded me that the most important thing was that we were getting married, not the party itself. The wedding day was perfect. I mean, truly perfect. I woke up surrounded by my female relatives, getting ready in my childhood bedroom. The makeup artist made me look like a movie star, and when I put on my dress, everyone cried. My mother told me I looked like a queen, and for the first time in my life, I actually felt like one. When I walked down the aisle and saw Ahmed waiting for me, I knew I was making the right choice. He was crying, which made me cry, and by the time we said our vows, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. We promised to love each other through everything, to be partners in this life, to build a family together. The reception was amazing. We danced until our feet hurt, ate until we couldn't move, and celebrated with everyone we cared about. Ahmed's father made a speech about how proud he was to welcome me into their family officially. My father talked about how happy he was that I had found such a good man. Everything felt right with the world. Our honeymoon was wonderful too. We went to Sharm el-Sheikh and spent a week on the beach, swimming, eating good food, and just being newlyweds. We talked about our future, about the apartment we were going to get, about the children we wanted to have. Ahmed told me he couldn't wait to grow old with me, and I believed him completely. When we got back to Cairo, we moved into our first apartment together. It was small but perfect for us. We painted the walls together, bought furniture, and made it our home. Every morning, I would wake up next to my husband and feel grateful for how lucky I was. Life settled into a comfortable routine. We both went to work, came home to each other, and spent our evenings cooking dinner and watching television. Weekends were for visiting family, going out with friends, or just staying in and enjoying each other's company. It was simple and beautiful and everything I had ever wanted. Ahmed was a good husband. He helped with the housework, remembered important dates, and always made me feel loved. He would bring me flowers for no reason, surprise me with my favorite sweets, and tell me I was beautiful even when I was sick with a cold. We rarely fought, and when we did, we always worked it out quickly. But about a month after we got married, I started noticing small changes. Nothing dramatic, just little things that felt different. Ahmed seemed distracted sometimes, like his mind was somewhere else when we were talking. He started working late more often, claiming that his company had some big projects that needed extra attention. I didn't think much of it at first. We were both adjusting to married life, and work can be demanding. Plus, Ahmed had always been dedicated to his career. He was ambitious and hardworking, and I admired that about him. I trusted him completely. But then the late nights became more frequent. 3 or 4 times a week, he would come home after I had already eaten dinner and gone to bed. When I asked him about it, he would just say that work was crazy and that things would calm down soon. He seemed tired and stressed, so I tried to be understanding and supportive. Around the same time, I noticed that he was more protective of his phone. Before, he would leave it lying around the apartment, and sometimes I would answer it if he was in the shower and his mother was calling. But suddenly, he started keeping it with him all the time. He would take it to the bathroom, put it face down during dinner, and sleep with it under his pillow. Again, I told myself I was being paranoid. Lots of people are attached to their phones. Maybe he was just being more careful about work, emails, or something. I didn't want to be the kind of wife who questioned her husband's every move. But deep down, something felt off. You know that feeling when you can't put your finger on what's wrong, but your gut is telling you that something isn't right? That's exactly what I was experiencing. It was like a quiet voice in the back of my mind, whispering that I should pay attention. 2 weeks ago, that whisper became a scream. I was lying in bed one night, waiting for Ahmed to come home from another late night at work, when this overwhelming urge hit me. I needed to check his phone. I needed to see what he was hiding. The feeling was so strong that it made my hands shake. I tried to push it away. I told myself I was being ridiculous, that I was letting my imagination run wild. Ahmed loved me. We had just gotten married. He would never do anything to hurt me. But the urge wouldn't go away. It followed me around for 2 days straight, getting stronger every hour. During those 2 days, I felt like I was going crazy. I would be at work, trying to focus on my projects, and all I could think about was checking his phone. I would be cooking dinner, and my mind would wander to what I might find. I would be lying next to him at night, listening to him breathe, and wondering if he was dreaming about someone else. I kept trying to talk myself out of it. Checking your husband's phone is a violation of privacy. It means you don't trust him. It's the kind of thing that jealous, insecure wives do, and I had never thought of myself as either of those things. I had always been confident in our relationship, secure in Ahmed's love for me. But the urge was eating me alive. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't concentrate, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was like having a song stuck in your head, except the song was, check his phone, check his phone, check his phone, on repeat. On the second night, I made a decision. I was going to check his phone, just once, just to prove to myself that I was being paranoid. I would see that there was nothing there, feel foolish for doubting him, and then I could move on with my life. Ahmed came home late again that night, around 11 o'clock. He said he was exhausted and went straight to the bathroom to take a shower. I heard the water running, and I knew I had maybe 10 minutes before he would come out. His phone was on the nightstand, charging. I walked over to it like I was walking to my own execution. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might wake the neighbors. My hands were shaking as I picked it up. The screen was locked, but I knew his password. It was the date of our first kiss, something romantic that had always made me smile. I typed in the numbers, and the phone unlocked. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I opened his messages and started scrolling through them. There were texts from his family, from his coworkers, from his friends. Everything looked normal. I started to feel relieved. See? I told myself. You were being paranoid for nothing. But then I saw a name I didn't recognize. Noor. The messages were recent, from earlier that day. Without thinking, I clicked on the conversation. What I saw made my blood turn to ice. The messages were flirtatious, intimate, completely inappropriate for a married man to be sending to another woman. But it was more than that. They were talking about things they had done together, places they had been, feelings they had for each other. I scrolled up, reading more and more messages, going back weeks. This wasn't a recent thing. This had been going on for months, maybe even before our wedding. The messages were full of inside jokes, pet names, and references to times they had spent together. Then I saw the message that destroyed me. It was from yesterday. Ahmed had written something about how she looked in the outfit she wore to work, and she had responded flirtatiously. The conversation ended with him saying, "I love you," and her saying, "I love you too." I love you. 3 words that he had said to me on our wedding day, 3 words that I thought belonged only to us, and he was saying them to another woman. Another woman who wasn't his wife, who wasn't the person he had promised to love and honor for the rest of his life. I stood there in our bathroom, holding his phone, reading those words over and over again. I love you. How could he say that to someone else? How could he mean it? How could he come home to me every night, kiss me goodnight, and tell me he loved me when he was saying the same thing to another woman? The shower was still running, but I couldn't move. I felt like I was drowning, like the air had been sucked out of the room. Everything I thought I knew about my life, about my marriage, about my husband, crumbled in that moment. I heard the water turn off, and I quickly put the phone back on the nightstand. I walked to the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, trying to process what I had just seen. Ahmed came out of the bathroom in his towel, smiling at me like nothing had happened. "How was your day, Habibti?" he asked, using the Arabic term of endearment that used to make my heart flutter. Now it just made me feel sick. I looked at him. This man I had loved for 11 years, and I didn't recognize him. How could he stand there, smiling at me, asking about my day, when he was in love with another woman? How could he be so casual, so normal, when my world had just ended? "Ahmed," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, "we need to talk." He must have heard something in my tone because his smile faded. "What's wrong? You look upset." I took a deep breath. "I saw your messages with Noor." The color drained from his face. For a moment, he just stared at me, and I could see his mind racing, trying to figure out what to say. Then he sat down next to me on the bed. "Yasmin, I can explain," he said, but his voice sounded hollow. "Explain what? That you're in love with another woman? That you've been lying to me for months? That our entire marriage is a joke?" He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "It's not what you think. Noor is just a friend, a coworker. We got close, but nothing physical happened. I swear to you, nothing physical happened." "Nothing physical happened?" I repeated. "You told her you love her, Ahmed. You told another woman that you love her. How is that nothing?" He looked down at his hands. "I made a mistake. I let the friendship go too far. But I love you, Yasmin. You're my wife. You're the one I married." "But you love her too," I said, and it wasn't a question. He was quiet for a long moment. "I have feelings for her, yes. But I chose you. I married you." Those words cut deeper than anything else he could have said. He had feelings for her. He loved her. And he had married me anyway, making me live a lie without even knowing it. "How long has this been going on?" I asked. "A few months," he said quietly. "Before our wedding?" Another pause. "Yes." I felt like I was going to throw up. While I was planning our wedding, choosing flowers and tasting cakes and getting excited about our future together, he was falling in love with another woman. While I was saying my vows, promising to love only him, he was thinking about someone else. I need you to leave, I said. Yasmin, please, let's talk about this. I made a mistake, but we can work through it. Get out, I said, louder this time. Go stay with your brother or your parents or whoever. I can't look at you right now. He tried to argue, but I was done listening. I went to the living room and sat on the couch, staring at the wall until I heard him pack a bag and leave. That was 3 days ago, and I haven't moved from this apartment since. I've called in sick to work, ignored my phone, and spent most of my time crying or staring at nothing. I feel like I'm in shock, like this is all a bad dream that I'm going to wake up from. But it's not a dream, it's my life. My husband, the man I've loved since I was 16, is in love with another woman. The marriage I thought was perfect is built on lies. The future I had planned is gone. The worst part is that I don't know what to do now. In Egypt, divorce is not taken lightly. It's a big deal, something that affects not just the couple but both families. People will ask questions, make judgments, and assume things about why the marriage failed. My family will be devastated. They love Ahmed, and they were so happy when we got married. My mother has already started asking when we're going to give her grandchildren. How do I tell her that there might not be grandchildren, that the son-in-law she adores betrayed her daughter? Ahmed's family will be hurt too. His mother treats me like her own daughter, and his father always tells people how proud he is of his son's choice in a wife. They'll have to explain to their friends and extended family why their son's marriage fell apart after 2 months. And then there's the practical side of things. We just got married. We just moved in together. We have shared bank accounts, shared belongings, shared dreams. How do you untangle a life that's been woven together for 11 years? But the biggest question is whether I can forgive him. Ahmed says nothing physical happened, that it was just emotional. Does that make it better or worse? Is emotional betrayal less serious than physical betrayal? I don't know. Part of me wants to try to work through this. Ahmed is the only man I've ever loved, the only life I've ever known. We have so much history together, so many good memories. Maybe this is just a phase, a mistake that we can move past. But another part of me feels like I can never trust him again. How do I know this won't happen again? How do I know there haven't been other women before newer? How do I know that when he says he loves me, he means it the way I mean it when I say it to him? I keep thinking about all the times in the past month when he came home late, when he was distracted, when he was protective of his phone. I thought he was just adjusting to married life, but he was living a double life. He was coming home to me after spending the day with her, telling me he loved me after saying the same thing to her. How do you rebuild trust after something like that? How do you believe someone when they've proven they can lie to your face for months without you even knowing? I've been going over every conversation we've had, every moment we've shared, trying to figure out what was real and what was fake. Was he thinking about her when he was making love to me? Was he comparing us? Was he wishing I was her? The questions are driving me crazy, but I can't stop asking them. I feel like I don't know Ahmed at all, like the man I married is a stranger. How could he do this to me? How could he do this to us? I know I need to make a decision soon. I can't stay in this apartment forever, avoiding my life and my responsibilities. I need to decide whether I want to try to save my marriage or end it. But right now, I don't know which choice would hurt less. If I try to forgive him, I'll always wonder if he's being faithful. Every time he works late, every time he gets a text, every time he's quiet or distracted, I'll question whether he's with someone else. Is that any way to live? But if I leave him, I'll be giving up the only love I've ever known. I'll be starting over at 27, trying to figure out who I am without Ahmed. I'll be explaining to everyone I know why my marriage failed. I'll be disappointing both of our families. In Egypt, being divorced carries a stigma, especially for women. People will whisper about what I did wrong, what I could have done differently. They'll wonder if I was a bad wife, if I drove him to cheat. The judgment will follow me everywhere I go. But maybe living with judgment is better than living with lies. Maybe being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't respect me enough to be faithful. Maybe starting over is better than staying in a marriage that's already broken. I don't have the answers yet. I'm still trying to process what happened, still trying to figure out how to move forward. But I know one thing for sure. I deserve better than this. I deserve a husband who loves only me, who doesn't need to find emotional connection with other women. Whether that husband is Ahmed after he's earned back my trust, or someone else I haven't met yet, I don't know. But I know I can't settle for less than real love, honest love, faithful love. The girl who married Ahmed 2 months ago believed in fairy tales and happy endings. The woman sitting in this apartment right now knows that real life is more complicated than that. But she also knows that she's stronger than she thought, braver than she imagined, and worthy of the love she's been giving so freely to someone else. I don't know what happens next, but I know I'll figure it out. I have to. Because the alternative is living a lie. And I've already done that for too long without knowing it. My gut feeling was right. I should have trusted it sooner. But now that I know the truth, I have to decide what to do with it. And whatever I choose, I know it will be the right choice for me, even if it's not the easy one. This is my story, and I get to write the ending. It might not be the ending I planned, but it will be honest, and it will be mine.